From your perspective, Barrister, do you think this call by the Women's League of the African National Congress Party handing over a memorandum of government of national unity for them to declare gender-based violence a national disaster, do you think this call is laudable on their part?
Yeah, David, you see, whenever your interest is at risk, you have to cry out. That is what democracy brings about. If you don't do that, then you are sleeping on your right.
Okay.
It's good the women spoke out, and I know the government in South Africa will listen to them. Because all over the world, nobody likes gender-based violence, especially against women. Okay. As a matter of fact, I don't know why some men want to display their power.
You know, Barrister, for context, what brought about, you know, the national protest that is ongoing in South Africa is the fact that a 7-year-old schoolgirl was raped in Eastern Kenya. I beg your pardon, Eastern Cape. Looking at the fact that young children of this age would experience heinous acts, is that huge enough to declare a national disaster, gender-based violence?
It's more than enough for 7-year-old. It's more than enough for national emergency. I just pray that the culprit is apprehended and dealt with. You know, it's a minor.
Yes.
Apart from the rape, the small girl died.
Oh well, she was rushed to the hospital, but nothing confirmed about her being alive or dead.
It's more than enough to raise alarm. But a girl of that age, I mean, it's not good. It's not. I don't even know what will be doing with a 7-year-old girl. I mean, there are red lights all over the place now. Those people in the red light area, they should go to them now. If they can't control themselves, instead of, it's not fair.
Now, Barrister, if this gender-based violence is taken to the point of having to be a national disaster, do you think, what kind of, in fact, my question is, what kind of punishment can be melted to culprits of these kind of acts?
Life imprisonment will be, I think it's more like it. Life imprisonment. Yes, life imprisonment. So that the person will go there and spend the rest of his life. You know, and it will act as a deterrent, because if you consider the fact that this idea I am not seeing in my mind, if it backfire, you are going to be out of circulation for the rest of your life. It will make them to think twice. So I think they should put a stringent measure.
Well, stringent measure, like you said, life imprisonment, but some persons would say, I'm just going to go to the prison. Of course, the government is going to feed me, and I'm still going to be living a normal life. But do you think that is even weighty enough? Because we're not even talking about the scar that the young lady would live with for the rest of her life, because that's a memory that can't even leave such a young person. Would that life imprisonment, from your perspective, really be a deterrent to such culprits?
There is more than a deterrent, because the worst thing you can do to any man is to withdraw his
freedom of movement.
Exactly. You don't know what it means until you are restricted and confined in a space. I mean, it's a lot. You can't even do anything for yourself. So anybody saying, I just go there, they will feed me. There is no joy there. Like you are restricted in a place for life. There's no joy there, nothing. I mean, it will be full of sorrow.
Now, looking at the fact that, yes, there was a protest that, of course, the ANC's Women's League brought up, decided to go to the parliament. must it get to the point of the women standing up for their gender, for the government in Africa, not just South Africa, to do the right thing, particularly when it has to do with young minors of this age?
Yeah, you know, government is a huge production factory.
Okay.
The people at the finishing may not even know what is going on at the preparatory.
That's why they have ministries, Barrister.
Exactly. So, unless something is brought to national attention, the government may not know. That's the truth. There's no way the government is sitting in the state house will come to know that a young girl has been raped somewhere without you bringing it to their attention. That's a fact.
Okay.
So when things like that happen, you need to raise the alarm. You need to bring it to national discussion and see the reaction of the government.
So practically this move by the Women's League of the ANC is quite laudable and hopefully should get a major response from the parliament in the coming days.
Of course, of course, of course. It will. It must.
All right, now because of our time, let's move.
Because if they move from that child now,
Yes.
it may not be to adult women and then to married women and all that. That's why things like that should not be taken for granted.
Okay, now, Barrister, before I jump off this particular conversation, let's talk about the young girl, 7 years old. What do you think can be done to rehabilitate such a child for her psyche and her mental state to be regained back to normalcy?
There are so many measures. Like after treatment, I think the psychologist would want to work on her. Then government will have to put her back to school, give her that sense of belonging and all that. There are many measures that can be put in place. Especially if the parents are still alive.
Okay.
There could be a sort of succor to the parents. Or the government can take over the education of that child. That's
more like on another level of spending for the government.
Exactly, yeah, because it's an investment. It's an investment of the government on the society. The girl may grow up to become somebody responsible tomorrow. So, I mean, we have seen people who came out of rape and they still become something in life.
But that particular psyche is another major one, Barrister.
I mean, is it not better you are alive than you are dead?
Oh well.
Abi, the psychologists are there. So many physiotherapists, all of them, they can work on her. That's what they are trained for.
All right.
No matter how bad your situation is, somebody will work with you and then pull you out of your trauma.
Interesting. We're still going to stay in South Africa, Barrister, and this, of course, is what we spoke about yesterday. The ANC not having huge votes in the parliament for them to pass the fiscal policy, and interestingly, they got another party to give them that tiny boost for the budget to be passed, but South Africa's opposition party is seeking to block the parliament from affirming that budget. And they claim because the ANC, I'm talking about the Economic Freedom Fighters, that's the opposition party, has written to the Speaker of the Parliament, of course, seeking to block lawmakers from meeting today to vote on the next stage of the budget process. Interestingly, one of their concern is the fact that the ANC went ahead to get another small party outside the coalition, and the party is the Action SA that gave them that support. Barrister, as it stands, opposition party blocking the passage of a budget. Do you think this economically is going to really bring South Africa down to the books, or is there a way out of all of this?
The opposition is not doing well in this particular case. The budget is the budget of South Africa.
Right.
So what are you trying to gain by blocking the passage?
Oh, well, they claim, Barrister, they claim that there are some discrepancies in that budget. But is that weighty enough?
There is no budget that is 100% perfect anywhere in the world. There will never be.
Okay.
So the party that is blocking it is not even making any sense at all. You know, they have gotten the party that will give them the majority to pass the budget. So why do you now want to block it again? You have forgotten that that budget is the budget of South Africa, not the budget of ANC.
Stalling development for the year.
Yes, or freedom fight or whatever. So I think they just want to show themselves. At the end of the year, they will back down. They will back down because the government has to run.
Okay.
Yes, I only wanted them to do one thing and one thing only. Check corruption and mismanagement of funds. That's why you are there as a legislator. Check it. If they see, let them cry out, let them raise alarm. That look, oh, this particular minister is chopping money. These are the things they ought to do as opposition, not blocking the budget.
Now, looking at the fact that they are even on this table of trying to block the budget from gaining another reading, the main party, I'm talking about the ANC, and of course the main coalition partner, that's the Democratic Alliance, accusing the ANC of crossing line away from the coalition agreement. Wouldn't this be a future problem for the political party, the ANC?
How can it be a problem? The party that came to their rescue came voluntarily.
Right.
So why would that be? It's done all over the world. In the First Republic, it happened between Northern People's Congress and NNPC, and then Nigerian the one that turned out to be MPP, Nigerian People's Party.
Yes.
Headed by NCNC. Yeah, it happens all over the world, so I don't see the problem there.
The coalition it's just normal to happen.
It's normal, yeah. At least so that you don't stop the wheel of progress. In America recently, there was almost a government shutdown, where the same thing happened. The Democrats and the Republican, they were at each other's throat. So it happened, but at the end of the day, reason will prevail.
Okay. Because
they too, their payment and whatever, it depends on that budget.
Right.
If they don't approve it, nothing will happen.
All right. Now, Barrister, you just made a statement saying reason will prevail, and of course that will take me to the next topic of conversation. Interestingly, the DR Congo and of course the M23 rebels are to hold direct talks this April, on the 9th of April. And of course, that talk was, boosted by efforts from Qatar. Barrister, that Qatar meeting saw Felix Tshisekedi of DR Congo with Paul Kagame of Rwanda going all the way to Qatar to have a meeting. African problems not having African solutions, going all the way to the Middle East to have a conversation, a round table talk. Let's look at April the 9th. Is this going to see the light of the day? M23 rebels, DR Congo.
I have told you that no war lasts forever. Whether they like it or not, at a point, they will borrow themselves a brain and say, let us stop this carnage. It is either the human resources are depleting, the material resources are depleting. One party is under heavy sanction and all that. So, they will become wary. If they are going to Qatar or wherever, but if they are going to hell to get peace, why not? It's just that when Satan give you peace and you bring it down to earth, I don't know what is going to happen.
Interesting, Barrister.
Anywhere they are going to get a peace, let them go.
Okay, now Barrister, the part where you just mentioned now is quite interesting for me. The going to Doha, Qatar, to have that peace talk. Some quarters have said that it is because of the relationship between the Qatari government and the DRC when it comes to mineral resources, and of course Rwanda. That's the reason why it's looking like the both of them are agreeing to have this mediation in Doha. African Union is left in the dark in all of this, Barrister. What is the implication of these kind of decision by these two factions?
You know, the Angolan man tried to mediate, being the...
That's the AU chairperson?
Yeah, chairperson. But I think one of the parties said that the man is taking sides, bias or something. And so, if a foreign power, a foreign nation have decided to mediate, why not? If not, it is done all over the world.
Okay.
It will just to bring peace. But whether Qatar intervene now or later, even if Qatar does not intervene, I'm sure that in the course of time, another country will intervene. Yes, another country will take up the responsibility. Look, let me call these people to her before they finish themselves. You know, it is natural. It's done all over the world. There is always a meeting point for warring parties to settle their matter.
The interesting part of all of this, Barrister, is the fact that the M23 rebels have confirmed the date, and of course, they've said they would be available in Kinshasa for that conversation. Now, again, one would want to wonder, the M23 rebels are being given relevance in all of this conversation. Barrister, how much risk is that particular move?
You know, when we come to the table,
yes,
maybe that issue will come up, except the discussants are not conversant with international diplomacy. But if they are, the question will be raised. This group that came here for this discussion, what is your interest in DR Congo? You are a rebel group. You are not from DR Congo.
Right.
And you want to take over the country. On what ground? What is the problem? Those issues will be raised. Maybe at that point, they will now discover that they are not relevant. I told you here. That at a point, they will ask themselves, what are we even doing here? I mean, if we overrun the whole of DR Congo, what will be the benefit? At the end of the day, you discover that you are just wasted time and money for nothing. Because no country will recognize you as a rebel group. You are not even from that country, as you say you are fighting for freedom.
Right.
Are you getting what I'm saying?
Yes.
So anybody sponsoring you is just doing that for selfish interest. Maybe that is why Paul Kagame came into the picture.
Okay.
Using those people for selfish interest. That's all.
There's actually the concern about the fact that Paul Kagame have been allegedly accused of sponsoring the M23 rebels, which again, in response, we hear allegedly, according to some quarters, that he said that the M23 rebel group is used to protect his people in DR Congo. How do you protect your people in another? The relevance of that statement is what and why Rwanda has been getting sanctions all across Europe.
To do that, you have to take territories in another man's country.
Not one city, two major cities, Barrister.
So, I mean, those lives will not fly. Because people are going to look at it in a more intelligent way and tell them that no, this is not how to go. When your people being suppressed in that country, were they marginalized? Were they being killed? So all prove that yes, your Tutsi people in DR Congo
have been marginalized.
They have been marked out. They have been selected for destruction. Show us proof. So maybe at this point now, his lies will be exposed.
Oh well, we definitely will be looking at these particular story as they develop. Barrister, before I let you go, Congo is in the news, and of course, post-coup updates. Gabon junta leader Nguema Brice Oligui will try to maybe take advantages of incumbency in the election that has been rescheduled for April the 12th in Gabon. Barrister, looking at the fact that the 50-year-old general did seize power in 2023 August coup, he is coming on the brink of a transitional government of wanting to go having being democratically elected. Is there the possibility that Mr. Brice Oligui Nguema might be the next president, legitimate democratically elected president of Gabon?
I mean, his type have done it elsewhere and succeeded. So what is strange about it? Yeah, it is what they have been doing all over Africa, especially to weak government, weak civilian administration. So if you now want to reform himself, so electoral process, why not? If not, he will succeed because right now he's the power of incumbency is there.
Yes,
he will use it. And being a small country, I mean, campaigning and deceiving the people will not be a hard work.
Interesting, Barrister. Using those words, deceiving the people. But you would recall as well that, of course, he took over from Ali Bongo, who, of course, in that August 2023 coup. But the part of wanting to transition into a democratically elected president, like you said, would be an easy ride for him. Is there the possibility that the people might want to reject him based on antecedents of being a military leader before now?
No, they wouldn't, as long as he's putting himself forward for election. And then he has the power of incumbency. And then the people are just small in number and all that. Be a few money here and there, and the deed is done. I think he will succeed because the opposition is not strong enough against him. They are not strong enough. They are not.
Okay. Barrister, in one sentence, Guinea's military leader also is set for September the 21st, 2025 election. And of course, that's another military leader wanting to transition to democratically elected government. Do you think he would succeed as well?
He will. All of them are becoming born again. He will.
Interesting. You just used the word born again. So it means that they might just be democratically elected by their people.
Of course.
If they are doing well.
Yes, because if they would not succeed, they wouldn't have ventured into it. They would have remained in military administration. But they know it will succeed. That's why they want to go.
Barrister, Guinea, Gabon doing this and successfully, they might, just like you said, they're not the first, they're not the second that would do such. Is this a way to go all across Africa if they want to get government working right?
Then the civilian administration must put on their thinking cap. If they don't want this guy to venture into governance and interrupt the administration, they should do the right thing. Because it is bad leadership that calls for military intervention.
Interesting.
All over the world, it is bad leadership. If they are doing well, in fact, the people will resist a military intervention. The people will pour out in the street to resist them.
All right. Thank you so very much, Barrister, for being here.